Hi.
Hi.
Thanks so much for joining.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So you're in New York for Fashion Week, which is fitting because you're a fashion icon. It's funny how now I think we're all supposed to be like these multi-hyphenate things.
Yes.
I want to start with the fashion piece because I'm a fashion lover and admirer.
An icon.
I don't know about that, but
Yeah.
you know, the sort of art of expressing yourself sartorially, I really relate to.
Okay.
And I have a makeup artist I work with. I was like, I don't do makeup and I don't know how to do it. And she always comes with makeup and she's like, that's how I express myself. And I was like, that's so interesting. And she's like, well, you express yourself through clothing. And I had never really thought about that. Tell me about your relationship to fashion and how you started to express yourself through clothing, or did you grow up loving it, or what was that? How did that start?
My mom was a model. So when I was growing up, and she was very chic and her friends super chic. So I think I always loved her style. And then I loved magazines. I used to make vision boards and collages. And I just loved putting images together, whether it was from home or places or clothes or, just, and I think that's part of acting too, is you're building these worlds that you want to live in, you're kind of creating these. That's how it started, I think. Or
At a young age, like at 15, were you?
Yeah, like as a teenager.
Yeah. And you were in Kentucky at this point?
No, I was in California, living on
California.
Balboa Island.
Oh, for some reason.
Yeah.
Were you from Kentucky?
I was born in Kentucky.
Okay.
But we moved when I was a baby.
Was California kind of part of your style?
Yeah, I think so. I think I've always leaned a bit more East Coast in terms of my style, but growing up in California and, kind of a beach place. Yes, you have a little bit of that too.
Yeah.
That naturalness.
So did I, because I went back and forth as a kid between Santa Monica and New York City. And so I think I always kind of danced between the two.
Yeah, it's a perfect balance.
Yeah,
really.
It is a good balance. So you started acting when you were how old?
I moved to New York when I was 17
Okay.
to study acting.
Is it right that you started in a soap opera?
My first thing I did was a commercial with Matt LeBlanc.
Oh, wow.
Called Mother's Cookies Ice Cream. And then I did like a Johnson & Johnson commercial. So I kind of started doing that. And then, Loving.
Yes, that's
with
it.
Luke Perry.
Right.
That's right. It was my first,
The sign of things to come with Luke Perry.
Exactly.
So then you were working in New York doing commercials, and then soaps are in New York too, right?
Yeah, I just was, supporting myself. So I was acting and going on auditions, and I was doing a little modeling, commercials, whatever.
Yeah,
I was
making it happen.
Okay, Yeah, so I was in New York for about 2 years. Then I got homesick. And also my teacher at that time, said, I said, should I stay and do theater? And he was like, no, you're young, you're a woman, go to LA and start working. You can always come back and do theater, which I thought was really interesting advice.
Strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah.
You were on Melrose Place, which was
a
hugely iconic show.
It was so fun because it was already really successful when I joined, so it was a really cool thing.
Yeah.
Marcia Cross and I were already friends before, so it was really fun to work with her. And it was such an exciting time, because we did, I think, 30-something episodes a season.
Oh, wow.
So we did these double ups where we do 2 episodes at one time. So it was like boot camp. But it was good boot camp. It was really fun.
Are you still friends with anyone from the show?
Lisa Renna I see sometimes, and Marcia I see sometimes, here and there.
The 90s, I think it was a kind of a special time. I mean, maybe I'm just nostalgic, but when I look back and I think about the shows that were made and the clothes, and that's
I think of you. I think of you, honestly.
I lived in England for a long time. And when I was there, I missed a whole bunch of TV shows because...
Which probably isn't a bad thing.
Well...
You never know.
It sort of left me in a cultural vacuum because there were all these shows that came out, and at the time, it would always premiere a year later in England. People would be like, oh, have you seen, Lost and 24? And I was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And Gossip Girl was one of those shows.
Ah, okay.
So I've never seen Gossip Girl.
Okay.
And I think also because it was purportedly based on like Spence, the school that I went to.
That's right.
And kind of the girls that I grew up with. So is that Is that right? That it was kind
Oh,
of
I'd be so interested to see what you think of it, especially because that's your world. That's the world
right.
you grew up in.
Yeah, like apparently it was, kids hanging out on the steps of the Met. Like that's
Yeah.
what we used to do. We used
Dressed
to
really cute and like, yeah, no, I know because I lived on the Upper East Side the whole time we were filming. And I remember seeing all the kids coming in and out of the schools. How was it growing up on the Upper East Side?
It was great. I mean, it was, New York was a different place then.
Very different.
There were real kind of it was like pre-full gentrification of, everything kind of below the park. It was a little bit more, I would say, gritty then, but it was very alive. And I think all the way through the 90s, what I loved about it then, which I think it misses now, is that in those days, all the kids who were coming here to try to do whatever, live their New York dream could afford to live in Manhattan. So it's this incredible mix of artists and dreamers and people.
Yes.
And, it was like, and even the finance kids, like we were all kind of in it together and could afford to be in New York City or share apartments.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't think that's the case now. And I think it changes the tenor of a place.
For sure.
I've always loved the way that jewelry can tell a story across time. With Cartier, that story often begins with the panther. First appearing as a spotted motif on a watch in 1914, it's become one of the Maison's most endured symbols. It was reimagined in 1935 by Cartier's visionary creative director, Jean Toussaint, who brought the panther to life in 3 dimensions for the first time. Bold, magnetic, powerful, she turned it into something iconic. The newest Panthère de Cartier creations continue that lineage. 2 panthers, face to face, sculptural yet flexible, channel an alluring intensity. They feel timeless and yet alive in the present moment. That's the magic of Cartier. The craftsmanship, the history, and the way these pieces invite you to imagine your own story within them. Shop the latest Panthère creations on Cartier.com.
But you live in Monaco now, right?
I live between, Monaco and the U.S., obviously. Okay. My family's still here. I'm still here, but I'm mostly there, right. Kind of loosely based there for a few years because my children's father was a resident of Monaco.
Okay.
So that's how I ended up starting to go there. And
we're not going to go too heavily into this, but just from the perspective, obviously there was, in the news over the past, you had this custody situation, which when I was researching, you feel like your heart is ripped out of your body, like as a mother, just reading
that's how it feels.
what you went through.
For sure.
I can't imagine how you survived that. How did you kind of build that internal fortitude to get through it? And how did you keep your perspective?
I don't think I always did. But like anything, I think that is a challenge that you're unprepared for or you've never had before, right? You just navigate it the best you can and you learn along the way. You make mistakes. You don't know how to navigate it. So every day you get up and do the best. And some days you navigate it well and some days you don't, I think it's a process of, like most things, it's focus. It's kind of like the world today. We're bombarded with so much information. It's like, how do you even focus? How do you go within yourself and get quiet enough and take the time to prioritize what needs your attention? And so that was a big process for me, was how to focus on what was important to me during a time that was so crazy when there were so many other things going on around it.
Right.
Yeah.
If there's like searing pain, like being separated from your children, how would you sort of get through the day on set? Did you have tools?
I was so thankful that I had to be on set, to be honest, because it was such a good distraction. I mean, otherwise, I don't know what I would have done, honestly. I think it was a blessing in a way, because I had to focus, I had to show up. I mean, you know what that's like. It doesn't matter if you have pneumonia, if you're going through a divorce, it doesn't matter what's going on in your life. You have to show up and yeah, it was actually, I was thankful and everyone was so incredibly supportive. And I think this as an actress that, so many things in life happen. And, whether it's when we're young or when we're older, we're going through divorce, you lose somebody in your life. It doesn't, and it's like, how do you heal? How do you deal with these things? You just deal with it day by day. And you do the best you can. And also you learn, you learn about yourself. You learn
Deeply.
yeah, about your choices. You learn about how the world is a little bit more, maybe in ways that you were naive about the world.
My father died kind of suddenly when I was 30, and about 2 weeks later, I was on the set of a film. And luckily, I was playing Sylvia Plath. So,
Oh my God,
my
perfect.
depression definitely aided me in my work. If I had had to do something where I wasn't letting myself be completely swallowed in pain, there's just no way I don't think I could have done it using the art to sort of get me through. And I think that's something that I've done, I think, a lot in my life is like we all go through shit and pain and trauma of our own kinds. And like that was the thing about being an artist. I mean, I barely do it now, but about being an actor that I think was really healthy for me. It was sort of like to transmute the human experience and my own pain and sort of like mix it around in there, like in a centrifuge, and then like have it come out in part.
It's like an alchemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. I think it's so important going forward in our lives to you realize the role of an artist, and we need this kind of renaissance. I think the world needs a renaissance right now of the soul and art and expression and ways to express this. I just did the foreword on a book called How to Cry. And when she first sent it to me, I was like, what? I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm really the person for this. And then I read it, and it was really a lot about breath work. And it was about really going within and allowing yourself to feel. Because so much of the day, we have to show up for work. We have to show up for our kids. We have to show up, in society in a certain way. But it is important for our health and well-being to be able to sit and have a good cry, I mean, I remember the 90s, we kind of could. I don't know. Maybe then I felt like it was okay. It was still okay to kind of sit in the bathtub with a cigarette and
Totally.
like have a good cry or
Those
like
were the
whatever.
days.
It was like healthy. It was normal.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's important that we remember that we're human and remember our humanity,
Do you think that that's changed over the course of the past years because, we've become so presentational as a society and like we're supposed to be all these things on social media, and it's sort of divorcing us from our feelings?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all feel like, I think a lot of it's all the labels. I always think of just being labelless. If there are no labels, your identity is not connected to all these things. Who are you and what are you here to do? But, like you've sort of broken down all those walls of how people see an actress or somebody who grew up in the business, or you're just like, and I know you've dealt with a lot sometimes of people saying things publicly, like, because I think we all like structure and what's comfortable, and when people are doing things that are not comfortable, but the whole idea is to be limitless and infinite. And if you look at nature, you look at the sky, you look at the ocean, from what we know, it's quite vast. So, I think our consciousness is too.
That axis of like structure and yet limitlessness, and how I think that that's a really interesting point, because we do, I think, need structure to feel safe and to feel, and like our purpose dovetails into our structure and, our routines, and, make us feel like, safe. There's safety
what we attract. Yeah.
But then
For sure.
I think to not have to define yourself at the same time sounds like a really interesting practice.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it helps us just get in touch with who we really are, aside from all those things,
Who are you really?
Exactly. Who's asking?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it liberates us a bit, and it keeps us from having to just live up to this one thing or do this one dance our whole life, right?
Yeah.
Because we're here to do many things, and teachers come in many forms. We learn in different ways from different people, from the good and the bad, right?
What are the ways in which you feel you learn your lessons most easily?
I look at my part in them And I sort of say, okay, if I'm not blaming and I'm not the victim, which, it's nice to have a little pity party first and get it out. And then
Back to crying in
okay,
the bathtub.
pity party's done. Let's, get back to work here. And say, how did I set this up? Or how did my upbringing, or how do my thoughts and where I'm living contribute? And then it helps going forward.
Right. So accountability.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's absolutely critical, pivotal to have accountability, and also very, very hard, right? Is this like this, I think in our culture right now, like real vulnerability is hard. And like that, and vulnerability and accountability they hold each other's hands.
Well, it's like you said, I believe it's the structure you're talking about. It's accountability and all of that is the structure. Then you can be more liberated and free.
Yeah.
In terms of your expression.
So like when hardships happen to you, do you go straight to what is my part in this?
No, I mean, I think you have to feel everything,
Right.
I think you have to have a good cry. You have to feel it. And you can, whether you write it out, it's like, just get it out, right? I mean, I love The Artist's Way for that, that Julia Cameron book, because the morning pages of just getting stuff out, we carry so many things around. And
I
it's
used to
good.
do that in my 20s.
Right? I just got my son the book.
It's so cool.
It's great,
I
right?
read that book when I was probably like 22, and I used to
Yeah.
wake up every morning and do that.
How do you do it? You do so much, and you're so centered.
Not always, but I try to just do one thing at a time. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I get very overwhelmed, but less easily now. Okay. Like I used to get overwhelmed more quickly. Because I'm doing so much, I struggle if there's a lot of friction and all the things that are trying to get done.
Yeah.
I think I have a great ambition to really understand as much as I can about myself and why I'm here and about other people. Like I have such a deep curiosity about how other people work and what parts of them I can see myself in. And so I think that was part of my acting, and I think it's part of what we do at Goop as well. It's like a pushing forward into what's next, what's coming around the corner. And I'm not sure how I do it all the time.
It's purpose. Sounds like it's purpose.
Exactly. It's purpose, which I think I'm still trying to articulate exactly what my purpose is. I think maybe sometimes I think I won't know until I'm on my deathbed, Do you have a sense of purpose, do you think, now? Do you know what your purpose is?
Well, it's interesting because something you just said makes so much sense to me, which is why we do what we do. Try and understand why we do what we do, right? Or that's I think that's what yours, and that's definitely I think what draws us to acting and that whole world of if you study humanity. I think as a kid, I studied people. I would sit and watch them, and why did they make that choice? Why are they in that relationship? Why are they wearing that outfit? Why do they talk like that? Why do they, there's just all these questions about humanity and if you're sensitive and you're aware, but I think sometimes the purpose is staying in our heart. I think it's like keeping love in your heart is a purpose. Just staying there. And even in business or even in, as a parent and all of these aspects.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Hard to do all day, every day.
No, you can't.
Right?
I mean, you're not supposed to do everything all the same all day. I think we're in an interactive universe, and it's constantly depending on what we're creating as well.
How do you do that? Like if there's acute acrimony or your ex or, what's the trick to keeping love in your heart?
I think it's really key. It's just the focus. It's staying, focused on the goal. Like for me with my kids, it was like, how do I have healthy kids through this? How do I do that? I don't know. I mean, I've apologized to them many times for losing it and being like a mess, But I think the difference is I apologize and I say, look, I'm a mess and this is why, and I love you and I'm here. I'm showing up even if I'm a mess. Do you know what I mean? And I think they respect that. And I think they know you're human. They know you're not some robot, hopefully it helps them realize how to deal with things. It shows them, oh, okay, this is how my parents are navigating the world. So I'm learning from, just like, if you have parents that, you know, I have friends that their parents smoked a lot when they were growing up, smoked cigarettes, and so they hate smoking. You know, so it can work either way, right?
Yeah.
So they learn from us
What to do
the
and what
good
not
and
to
the
do.
bad,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
But just, I think, just show up with all of the good and the bad, and that to realize that we aren't all going to have it together all the time.
And
But-
make the repair.
But we're working on it. You're still learning. I think
Yeah.
Gossip Girl, which you haven't seen, and I've only seen
I'm going
like
to
part
now.
of, because I had 2 kids and a divorce through it. But I still haven't seen the whole thing. On the show, what I loved, and I think what people respond to, is that the parents didn't have it all together.
Right,
You know?
exactly.
Which I think was important, and that they were like, we're figuring it out too still, you know.
Right.
We
Yeah.
are. We're all still figuring it out.
Yes, and I think the real injury comes when you're out of integrity, right? Meaning you're pretending that everything's okay, or you're pretending that you're not hurt or angry or whatever the
Yeah.
case may be. But it's hard. Like I remember in my divorce too, like the impulse to want to keep it all together and, you know, be strong and,
Yeah, of
you know,
course.
and
it's public. So
And it's
it adds
public.
another level to it, you know, when you're having to.
it really does add another level, and people are watching you to see, you know, and so you're trying to, and sometimes I wondered, like, you know, in those times, like, am I really letting myself process all of this because I'm trying to hold everything together? It's hard to do both at the same time.
Yeah, it comes out later. You just have a good cry walking down Madison with your coffee. You're like, I don't know what's going on, but it's coming. Here we go. No,
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
it's normal. You know, I think also we put it in perspective and focusing on the good,
Yeah.
even no matter how crazy it is, you know, focusing on.
Yeah. And in gratitude and
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
because we are so blessed, you know, and even though we go through these challenges, we realize how blessed we are at the same time,
Absolutely,
you know.
yeah. Okay, so let's talk about your Instagram because my team is very obsessed with it.
Oh, God, that's so nice.
You're a major style icon. And so tell me about these elevator selfies and how they became so iconic.
I don't know. It was really out of convenience. It's because
Where's the elevator, first of
It's
all?
in Monaco.
Okay.
It's like a little light box. You know, most elevators just aren't, you know, I started doing it because I started to work on this platform with this girl, helping her find all these cool artisan brands from all over the world. And it was during COVID. So it was like just kind of researched like 3,000 brands and just sort of helped her do this thing. And then out of that came this like awareness of, wow, there's so many beautiful brands that I had never heard of or, you know, known about all over the world. And that's how I started. And then I just started posting, I'll just post this and do this and support and whatever. And that's how it kind of evolved into something just fun. It was just
So
It's just
fun. I mean,
fun.
fashion is fun. It's
It
like
is
a
fun.
It
It is
is.
really, and it's a form of art. You know,
for sure.
it is.
So do you style it yourself or does
Yeah,
someone?
yeah. No, I do everything myself. I don't even have a stylist. But yeah, I do. I do everything, for better or worse.
No, it's great. You don't have a stylist at all, not even for a red
No,
carpet thing.
No,
Nothing.
I have.
Wow.
I've never. You know, no. I'm a publicist. I like literally
my
my
gosh.
family's my crew. You know, I'm just the dogs aren't here because they're in Monaco. But yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that European life, like when you're there.
Well, for me, it's super quiet, which I like.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in the summer, it's crazy, but it's crazy everywhere in Europe or
That's
here.
true.
Wherever. I really love home. Well, you are like the home queen. You obviously love home. You've
I
taken
do.
it to a whole nother level.
But now I've taken it to an extreme where like I never leave my home and it's actually weird.
I know, but it's nice. But I think that's normal. That's kind of how I am.
Do you like exploring? Do you like, is travel part of your
Yeah,
inspiration?
I've been traveling quite a bit. I mean, mostly for work. But I've always loved to travel. But now I'm dreaming of like a farmhouse somewhere with,
Me too.
you know,
What is it
making
with
honey
us?
and whatever.
Me
The bees
too.
make the honey, but helping the bees make whatever.
I'm on this one
doing-
group chat with like this amazing group of people who really like are sort of picking up the baton of like
Yeah.
non-toxic and, you know,
Yeah.
environmental toxins and microplastics and
Yeah.
stuff. And they're like, let's all just buy a piece of land and
I think we're a bit granola, not granola, but we're a bit like that side where you want things to be natural and you want things to be clean and healthy and all that. Then there's also the love of most beautiful
yeah,
thing, you know.
and quality
art and- yeah.
Yeah, and beautiful expression, or, you know.
I love everything. I love nature. I love art. I love people. I love family. I love all of it. I love
That's so optimistic.
creative.
I
Yeah,
hate everyone and everything. No, I'm just
Well, I
kidding.
do too sometimes. I have those days where I just need to put my dark glasses on and be like, okay, nobody talk. You know, of course. We all have that.
Yeah, I think I've been in a bit of a cynical phase lately, you know, like,
Well, how can you not
with
be
the
a little
world
bit
the way-
cynical
yeah.
right now? It takes a lot of focus,
yeah.
you know, to focus on the good and
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah, it's a test, you know, to stay in the present
Yep.
and stay hopeful.
I look at it as like nothing is as it seems right now. So we just have to kind of go, okay, you know,
Yep.
and focus on the things that we love, our family and art. And because I
Exactly.
think that's the thing too. I find now with like Instagram and all these things is you're not kind of going out and seeing things in the same way. Or
Yeah.
I'm making myself read books. I'm like, you've got to read books.
Yeah.
You got to put the phone down.
Yeah.
It does. It takes,
It
you
takes
know, do you love
discipline.
art? Do you
I
collect art?
do. I was actually going to be an art history major in college. So
Oh my God, so
my
you
dad was a
really-
fine art major, and when he was in college, before he went on to make TV shows, and so he took me to every museum and gallery, and
What a gift.
yeah, so it's medicinal for me to go and see art. It helps me process everything that's happening, and when culture seems incomprehensible, I love how artists sort of help us chew through like the current feelings and express, you know, how it comes out and how they express. So yeah.
Gets us through.
Yeah. Okay, rapid fire. Here we go.
Okay.
Okay. What is your approach to beauty?
I've never loved to wear makeup. Okay. My
neither.
mother dragged me to the makeup counter when I was like 18 and was like, maybe you should, you know, I was a bit of a tomboy.
Yeah, me too.
So,
I still am.
yeah, like I really, like my daughter this morning, I was coming here and she's like, you might want to put like just some mascara on. I'm like, it's Gwyneth. She's like natural like me. It's fine. So, yeah, so I tend to go natural with the beauty. I really like that. Simple.
Coffee order.
Cappuccino.
Regular milk?
Yes.
I love it. Best piece of beauty advice that you've been given?
Don't think about it too much.
Something that never goes out of style.
Love.
Style icon.
God, there's so many.
I know.
So many. You're one of my style
Oh my
icons.
goodness.
Catherine Deneuve and Jean Moreau, all those
Me
women.
too.
Like the old school, like
yeah.
beautiful, elegant
Absolutely.
women.
Favorite part of being a mother?
All of it. I really love being a mom. Like I couldn't wait to be a mom.
Yeah, me
I felt
too.
like everything else was just like, I got to do all this so that I can be a mom.
This one's always hard for me, but the question is a quote you live by, but it could just sort of be like sentiment, a mantra.
Yeah, I think it is. I really do believe it is about keeping love in your heart. We are kind of unlimited. There's so much more.
We're always trying to squeeze ourselves into some kind of paradigm or like what we're, you know, and I really like this idea of like, what would it feel like if we sort of remove those boundaries around our...
Yeah, because we all have preconceived ideas about what's possible, you know? So if we get out of that space a little and leave room for what could be possible, we know even better things happen, you know? So I know if I get out of my own way, things work much better and even better things come in, you know?
Good rule to live by.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for
Oh,
coming on the
thank you
Goop
so much for
podcast.
asking
It was
me
so
to do
lovely to
this.
meet you.